So hi everyone, welcome to Oracle Goldengate session. My name is Ashish Agarwal. I'm an Oracle Goldengate specialist and I'll be delivering this session to you. So before starting about me, so I have 10 plus years of experience as Oracle Goldengate specialist and Oracle DBA. I have more than 6 years of experience in Oracle Goldengate training, and I have trained more than, now the count has reached 650 plus individuals and 20 plus corporate clients. So I have taken online as well as offline classroom trainings both. So I'm currently working from Canada. I have worked and implemented Golden Gate trainings in Golden Gate in more than 50 projects so far. So during the session you will find I will be sharing with you a lot of real-time scenarios, test cases, etc. as well. So my mail ID is this, ashishagarwaleg@gmail.com. My mobile number is, as mentioned, WhatsApp number is on my India number, and my call number is on Canada. And you can also view reviews regarding my sessions on my LinkedIn as well as Urban Pro profile as well. So first of all, what is Oracle Golden Gate? So Oracle Golden Gate is one of the most booming technology in the market. All the clients, all the vendors, everywhere Golden Gate is being used. So what is Golden Gate? So Oracle Golden Gate is a tool which provides near real-time data replication. Now Golden Gate is a change data capture tool. What do we mean by change data capture tool? The tool which captures the changes which are happening in your database. So what changes happens in your database? The changes which happens are your DML as well as DDL changes. So those changes, whatever changes are happening, those changes are captured and sent to the target database and applied on the target database in near real time. So apart from Golden Gate, when we talk about Data Guard is again a change data capture tool. Oracle Streams, which was there till 11G R1, again was change data capture tool. Or there are Golden Gate competitors in the market. So they also provide you change data capture tool solution. So Golden Gate again itself is a change data capture tool which provides near real-time transactional data replication. So replication may be unidirectional, bidirectional, or multi-dimensional in Oracle Golden Gate. That is, you can use Golden Gate for one-to-one replication or both ways replication, or you can use Golden Gate for one-to-many or many-to-one. That is, you can broadcast the data from single source to multiple targets, or you can use Oracle Golden Gate for data warehousing where data from multiple sources is getting applied on single target. So replication can involve several sources as we discussed in which multiple sources and single targets will be there, or you can broadcast by having single source and multiple targets. So it can involve, replication can involve several sources and targets simultaneously and can be used for distributing data for backup, hot standby, auditing, reporting, warehousing, and load distribution as well. So you could use this replicated data for hot standby, for auditing purpose, for reporting purpose, for warehousing purpose, and as well as you could use it for load distribution as well. The advantage of Oracle Golden Gate is you could use Golden Gate for replicating the data as it is. So data may be replicated as it is using Golden Gate. Or you can perform data filtration and transformation with Oracle Golden Gate. So data may be replicated as it is, or the replicated data may be edited, transformed, split into different distributions, or you could have metadata added or filter added. Both DML and DDL may be replicated in whole or in part. So suppose on source you have 100 columns. You have 100 rows. You want to replicate the data of only 5 rows. It is possible in Oracle Goldengate. Or suppose on source, when we talk about employee table, you have two columns, salary and commission. On target, you have only salary column. You want that on target salary column, the addition of salary and commission and of source should be replicated. So you can transform the data as per your requirement. So with Goldengate, it is possible to filter out the data or transform the data as per your requirement. You could use Goldengate for business intelligence purpose as well. Now the question comes, why Oracle Goldengate? So if we see in current market, Goldengate is in high demand. Why? Why organizations are moving to Oracle Goldengate? Why DataGuard or Oracle Streams is not the only solution in the market? Why Goldengate is the preferred solution? So there are two reasons behind that. One is technical and other is financial reasons. So first of all, let us talk about financial reason and then we'll talk about technical reason. So if you consider today's job market, you'll find that a lot of Goldengate related jobs are there. You'll find that Goldengate administrators are in high demand in current job scenario. The reason behind that is many organizations sign end user license agreement with Oracle. Now when they sign end user license agreement, they are free to use any Oracle product for on any number of server for that particular timing for which end user license agreement has been signed. So Goldengate is a tool which is a license tool and it costs server wise. If you buy it individually, it may cost you more. However, when you sign end user license agreement, you can use any tool, ODI, Goldengate, database, means whatever Oracle tools are there, you can use them on any number of server. So what happens, many organizations have signed end user license agreement with Oracle. Now since Goldengate has lot of capabilities like business intelligence or real-time data replication, disaster recovery, the solution which it's provide, the solution topologies which it has, which it supports, it makes that product very much cost effective. And since with end user license agreement it comes, you are free to use Oracle Goldengate on any number of tools. So organizations are using these Goldengate related tools in all the application. They are using Goldengate in all the application. Now since Goldengate is very widely used now, as a result they need Goldengate administrators. As a result, Goldengate administrators are in high demand. Now there are not many Goldengate administrators as of now in the market. As a result, if you know Goldengate, you'll be in a high demand. So that was the financial reason. Now what about technical reason? So if we see, there are a lot of Goldengate competitors. IBM has its own tool. Dell SharePlex is there. IBM CDC tool is there. But why is still Goldengate? In fact, all these are also change data capture tools. But still, why Goldengate is most popular is data is sent in real time with sub-second latency. That is the time at which the data gets committed on source database. It gets applied on the target database in real time, in near real time, not real time. It gets applied on the target database with sub-second latency. So as soon as data gets committed on the source database, it is available on the target database with sub-second latency. Goldengate supports heterogeneous environments across different database and hardware types. So with Goldengate, your source database could be Oracle or non-Oracle, target database could be Oracle or non-Oracle. So your source could be Oracle, target could be DB2. Goldengate can replicate the data. Your source could be SQL Server, target could be Oracle. Goldengate can replicate the data without any concern. Also the platform, your source database could be on Windows, target could be on an Exadata. Source could be on Linux, target could be on Sun Solaris. Goldengate can replicate the data. So the main difference between DataGuard and Goldengate is real time. Goldengate works on heterogeneous environments and heterogeneous platforms. And third is, with DataGuard, it is not possible to do the data filtration and transformation. Goldengate provides you high performance with low impact. So the performance of Goldengate is very high, and the impact which it has on the source database is very low. So Goldengate is a tool which is external to the database. Any tool which is external to the database, it may have some impact. So Goldengate has some impact on the source database, but the impact which it has on the source database is very minimal. Goldengate has the ability to move large volume of data very efficiently. So Goldengate can move your blob, large objects very easily and efficiently as well. Goldengate ensures no single point of failure. So suppose your source database is in Dallas, target is in New York. So if your Dallas server is down, your application can switch to New York server without any concern. So Goldengate ensures no single point of failure and high availability. So Goldengate supports your different business requirements like business continuity and high availability. So as we discussed, suppose your primary database is in Dallas, target is in New York. So your Dallas server is down due to some disaster or any other reason. So Goldengate ensures that your business continuity is not hampered. Even though your Dallas is down, your application can quickly switch over to the New York server. The reason being, data is available in real time over there. So whatever the data is there in Dallas, it has already been replicated to New York server, and a switch over will happen. And it ensures high availability. So the application can quickly connect to the New York server. It supports zero downtime, data migration and upgradation. So one of the advantage of Oracle Goldengate is it supports zero downtime, migration and upgradation. So in current scenario, you have to upgrade or migrate regularly. You may have to do that on regular scenario. Now when you upgrade or migrate, your your database is unavailable for that particular timing. Now when your database is unavailable for that particular timing, organizations tend to lose a lot of revenue during that particular time. Organizations has a lot of customer dissatisfaction as well. So to overcome from that scenario, you can use Goldengate for the zero downtime data migration and upgradation. As a result, organizations may not lose the revenue which they are losing. I'll give you one example. Around a year back, I was working for one of the big client of UK, major telecom of the world, in fact, I should say. So at that moment, they were upgrading from 10G to 11G. Their database size was not much. It was only 40 GB, but it was one of the critical database. It was the ultimate source database. What happened? They didn't use Goldengate for the migration purpose, upgradation purpose. And as a result, they had to take the downtime of 8 hours. Now during that 8 hours, can you estimate how much revenue loss they had to bear? 10,000 pounds. Just because they had taken the downtime of 8 hours. So next time when they upgraded, they used Oracle Goldengate for the upgradation purpose. With Oracle Goldengate, they ensured that it was zero downtime data upgradation. So Goldengate supports zero downtime database migration and upgradation. Goldengate also have decision support system and data warehousing. So you can have multiple sources and single target. Data integration, data broadcast and consolidation as well. So what are the topologies which are supported in Goldengate? You could use Goldengate for unidirectional reporting instance. So I'll again give you one interesting example. I was working with State Bank of India in 2011. State Bank of India is one of the biggest databases of the world. At that moment their database size was 43 TB. I'm pretty sure it must have increased to 60 terabytes now. So 43 TB is a big database, right? Now what used to happen at that moment, if you remember in 2011, a lot of their transactions were slow. The database response was very slow. The reason being there are a lot of reporting jobs which runs in banking environment. Every bank runs reporting jobs during daytime as well. Now banking jobs, reporting jobs used to coincide with the, or I should say interfere with the OLTP transactions. Now when both of them interferes each other, the database response time used to be very slow. So what we proposed them as a team, we proposed them to use Oracle Goldengate. Actually their primary server was kept in Mumbai, India, and their secondary server was kept in Hyderabad, India. So earlier they were using DataGuard for the data replication. So we proposed them Oracle Goldengate that the secondary side be replicated using Oracle Goldengate. Now once proposed this to them and they implemented it, their reporting jobs were switched to the secondary server, that is Hyderabad server. Hyderabad server is getting the data in real time, that is with the lag of 5 to 7 seconds. Now reporting jobs can run on data which is 5 to 7 seconds older. However, when we switch over the reporting jobs to the secondary server, you won't believe what impact it had. The performance, the response of database increased drastically. The simple reason was the load on the primary database was heavily reduced. Almost, it was now almost 30% of the earlier one. As a result, the reporting jobs were shifted to the secondary server, which is receiving the data with the lag of 5 to 7 seconds. So Goldengate has many advantages. The thing is, we should know what's our purposes. You could use Goldengate for multiple purposes, or you could use Goldengate for bidirectional as well. That is, it could be active-active. So in bidirectional, your application can be connected to any site, that is primary as well as secondary. The data can come from any site. Once the data comes, it will be replicated to the corresponding site. Or you can use Goldengate for peer-to-peer, that is load balancing and high availability. So you have three sites, A, B and C. So data from A to B is replicating in bidirectional, that is A to B, B to A. Then B to C, C to A, and A to C, C to A. You can broadcast the data. That is, one source is there and multiple targets. So single source can have 100 tables. So you may want to broadcast all 100 tables to target 1, target 2, target 3. Or you can broadcast out, out of these 100 tables, you want to broadcast first 30 tables to target 1. Table number 31 to 62 target 2. Remaining 40 tables to target 3. You can do that. You can consolidate the data in data warehouse, data mart or data store. You can build. So multiple sources are getting replicated to single target. So you may have 30 tables in target 1, 30 tables in target 2, 40 tables in target 3. So all 100 tables will be coming to single target. Or you can use Goldengate for, another advantage of Goldengate is it is not mandatory to install Goldengate on the same server where database is. So what happens, Goldengate is an external tool. Many organizations may not allow you to install Goldengate on the same server where database is installed. So what you can do, you can install Goldengate on the intermediate server. The data from whatever data is database, whatever archives are getting generated on the primary server, they will be shifted to the secondary server, and there Goldengate will extract the data and will send it to target databases. So Goldengate has many advantages. It depends on what purpose you want to use Goldengate for. So let us now discuss the architecture of Oracle Goldengate. So architecture of Oracle Goldengate is pretty important. Whenever you are configuring an Oracle Goldengate, whenever you are setting up, whenever you are troubleshooting, or you have to resolve any issue, just think about architecture. Things will be fine for you. So in Oracle Goldengate, you have a source database and a target database. So as we discussed, source could be Oracle or non-Oracle, target could be Oracle or non-Oracle. Now every database has its own transactional logs. In case of Oracle, these transactional logs are known as redo logs or backup of redo logs, which are archive logs. So whatever changes, whether you are doing DDL or DML, the changes will be recorded into these transaction logs, or even if they are committed or uncommitted, they will still be recorded into transaction logs. So whenever you do any transaction, DDL or DML, it will be logged into transaction logs. So these transaction logs in Oracle are redo logs or backup of redo logs, which are archive logs. So you create a Goldengate capture process which scans your transactional logs in sequential manner and captures only committed transactions. Once it captures those committed transactions, it writes them to the trail file on local system, which are known as local trail. Now local trail are nothing but storage of the data what capture process has captured. So the local trail resides on your operating system. They consume your hard disk and contains the data whatever the capture process has captured. So once the capture process captures and write it to local trail, as soon as data is available into local trail, the Oracle Goldengate data pump process reads the data out of your local trail, sends it over TCP/IP network and writes it to trail file on target, which are known as remote trail. Once the data becomes available into remote trail, the Goldengate delivery process reads the data out of your remote trail and apply it to target database. So the capture process captures the data from the transaction logs and writes it to local trail. Trail files are the storage. These are the binary format trail files. The format of these trail files is similar to your archive logs of the database. Just like archive logs are binary format files, these trail files are also binary format trail files. Just like archive logs consume space on your operating system, in the same way these trail files consume space on your operating system. Trail files on source system are known as local trail. Trail file on target system are known as remote trail. So capture process captures, writes it to local trail. Remember, capture process captures only committed transaction. As soon as data is available into local trail, Goldengate data pump process reads the data out of your local trail, sends it over TCP/IP network and writes it to remote trail. Once the data becomes available into remote trail, the Goldengate delivery process applies it to target database. So if you see here, there are three Goldengate processes involved over here: capture, pump and delivery. So each process has a source to read from and a target to write to. So capture process source is source database and target is local trail. Pump process source is local trail and target is remote trail. Delivery process source is remote trail and target is target database. Remember, the trail files will only contain the committed transaction, since the capture process is capturing only the committed transaction. So in bidirectional, what happens? You have capture, pump and delivery configured on other side as well. So consider bidirectional as two-way unidirectional. Bidirectional is nothing but two-way unidirectional. Just like you configure Oracle Goldengate processes from site A to site B. Now consider site B is your primary database and site A is your secondary database. So primary, whatever transactions happens in site B now, they will be replicated to site A database. So now site B database will have its own transaction logs which will contain the transactional data. So you will configure the Goldengate capture process which will read the data out of your transactional logs and capture only committed transactions. Once it captures, it will write it to local trail on site B. Once the data is available in local trail, the data pump process on site B will read the data from local trail and write it to remote trail on site A. As soon as data becomes available into remote trail on site B, the Goldengate delivery process will read the data out of your site B remote trail, site A remote trail and apply it to site A database. So in case of bidirectional, you will have capture, pump, delivery, local trail and remote trail existing on both the sites. However, remember these capture, pump, delivery process are independent of each other. That is, the capture, pump of site A have a corresponding delivery process on site B. Similarly, capture, pump of site B have a delivery process on site A, and these all the process are independent of each other. So from 12C onwards, Goldengate introduced the concept of integrated capture. So what we saw over here, it is the classic capture mode. So what is classic capture? In classic capture, the capture process reads the transactional logs of database directly. Now when the capture is a means Goldengate is a external tool to database, right? Goldengate is an external tool to the database. So it may have some performance impact on the source database. As a result, to overcome this reservation of many clients, Goldengate introduced the concept of integrated capture from 12C onwards. In fact, integrated capture was introduced in 11GR2. However, when you are using multi-tenant PDB and CDB architecture at the database level, you have to mandatorily use integrated capture. So now what is the difference between integrated capture and the classic capture? The difference is in the integrated capture, your extract process does not interact directly with the transactional logs of the database, that is redo logs and archive logs. It does not interact with them directly. What happens is in case of integrated capture, you have one more layer of log miner database in between of extract as well as redo logs and archive logs. Earlier in case of classic, capture was reading the transactional logs directly. However, in case of integrated one, extract does not read the transactional logs of the database directly. What happens is whatever changes are made to the database, they gets returned into the redo logs. A copy of those changes is returned into the log miner database, and then log miner passes on the changes to the extract process whatever is required. So here, instead of extract process reading directly the redo logs or archive logs, there is one more layer in between which is log miner database, which contains the copy of the changes, whatever changes have been made to the database. Those changes will be written into the log miner, and then log miner will pass on the changes to the extract process in form of LCRs, logical change records. what the difference between classic and integrated is, in the classic one, the extract was reading the transactional logs directly. In integrated one, log miner database is in between, which has the same changes what redo logs or archive logs have, and then log miner passes on those changes to the extract process. Then once the extract contains the changes, it writes them to the local trail, which data pump reads, write it to remote trail, and then replicate applies them. So log miner is nothing but, if you remember, if you know, to read the archive log of the database, you use log miner utility. For that purpose, you build log miner database. So it is the same database. So in case of integrated capture, the performance of integrated capture is very much high than the classic capture. In fact, it's a common saying that multiple extract process work could be done by single integrated capture. Multiple classic extract work could be done by single integrated extract process. Why? Means a normal question which comes to our mind is, in case of classic capture, the capture process is reading the transaction logs in sequential manner directly. However, in case of integrated capture, there is one more layer in between. So how can the integrated capture be faster than the classic capture? I'll tell you, we did one test last year in our environment. We found out that when the transactions per second in case of classic extract were 8,000, lag was around 5 to 7 seconds. When we increase it to 12,000, the transactions per second were raised to 30 seconds, and when we increase it to more than 15,000, the transactions per second were very high. The lag was very high. However, it was in fact crossing minutes. Sometimes it reached up to 20 minutes. However, in case of integrated capture, when the transactions per second were 15,000, the lag was only 2 to 3 seconds. When we increase it to 18,000, the lag was only 5 to 7 seconds. When we increase it to around 22,000, it increased up to around 30 seconds, but we never saw it crossing 30 to 60 seconds ever. Now, why integrated capture is faster than classic capture? What could be the possible reason? The reason being, in case of integrated capture, so the capture process does the scanning part. As we discussed in Goldengate, it is possible to do the filtration. Like suppose at the database level you have 100 tables. You want to replicate the data of only 2 tables. It is possible. So transactional logs will contain the data of 100 tables. Your capture process is external process to the database. Now since it is external process to the database, it has to scan the transactional logs in sequential manner and find out the data for those particular tables. However, in case of integrated capture, the scanning part of this is done by the log miner. Now since log miner is internal to the database, it is efficient and much faster than the external Goldengate extract process. So integrated capture is much faster than the classic capture. Now it is the future as well. Integrated capture needs to be used. It is mandatory for you to be used for multi-tenant architecture. So Goldengate has introduced 12c. Now we have 12.2 version going on. So what are the new features? Support for multi-tenant architecture. Goldengate has introduced the support for multi-tenant architecture database. Goldengate delivers high performance data replication. Integrated capture enhancement. So integrated capture was introduced in 11G R2. However, enhancement has been done in Goldengate 12c version. Goldengate now supports integrated. Goldengate has now introduced integrated replicate support as well. Just like integrated capture, it now has integrated replicate as well. Then the security of Goldengate has been increased tremendously. So password storage and credential store and wallet. So earlier, apart from replication or data integration, every organization main worry is data security. Their data should never be visible to the outside world. Or the password of users what you are creating for Goldengate replications. They should not be visible to everyone. So you could store the password in credential store and wallet. Compatibility with database data pump during initial load. So it is now compatible with Oracle database data pump process while doing the initial load. So Goldengate, if you consider the job market today, there are a lot of Oracle Goldengate administrator jobs, but not enough good resources who understand what is Oracle Goldengate, how it works. You need to understand there are different customers requirement. Like I'll share one requirement like Vodafone India. Now Vodafone India again is very big database. It contains data from Vodafone, if you state wise, Vodafone Delhi, Vodafone Mumbai, everywhere, Vodafone Maharashtra, every state has its own has its own customer base. So Vodafone was what Vodafone wanted to do was they want to analyze which area is best revenue generation, which area is lagging behind, where where they need to concentrate more on. So what they did, they introduced Oracle Goldengate for replicating the data. So with Oracle Goldengate, data is getting replicated to Vodafone India database, and from there on, they are sending data to Vodafone Delhi, Vodafone Maharashtra. So for instance, your application is connected to Vodafone India database. So suppose I am in Delhi, I'll go and buy a new connection in Vodafone in from Delhi. So I'll be a new customer in Delhi region for Vodafone. So what will happen? Application will make entry to the Vodafone India database. However, using Goldengate, it will be replicated to Vodafone Delhi database. Similarly, a new customer is there in Mumbai. So application will be connected to Vodafone India. However, from there on, once the entry is made to Vodafone India, it will be replicated to their respective state-wise database. Now what they will do afterwards is they will try to find out how much revenue Vodafone Mumbai is generating, or how much revenue Delhi is generating, or how much revenue Karnataka is generating. Based on that, they will analyze, do the business intelligence, and then will decide which area they need to concentrate more on, which area they are able to generate most revenue from. So Goldengate has different business requirements. You need to understand Goldengate to implement everything. So today company needs skilled professionals who are able to understand and design Oracle Goldengate requirement as per client's requirement, or deploy Oracle Goldengate in active high availability. See, Goldengate again is a tool. So it if it is down, it can cause a havoc. So Goldengate should always be configured in high availability mode. Or you should be able to install, configure, integrate Oracle Goldengate with database. So the average Oracle Goldengate salary as of August 30, 2016 was 98,000 US dollars annually. These figures are taken from Indeed.com. So the average Oracle Goldengate salary in the market as of August 30, 2016 is 98,000 USD. So I'll show you one example how data is replicated from Oracle Goldengate. What we discussed just now, the architecture. So let us see how the process data flow from Oracle Goldengate, from source database to target database. How we configure the processes will be seen during the regular sessions, but right now I'll show you how the data flows from source database to target database. Remember, more advantage with Goldengate is your source database name and target database name can be different. Your source schema name and target schema names can be different. Your source table names and target table names can be different. Goldengate will be able to replicate the data. So we have two servers available. With Goldengate you need one primary server and a secondary server. So our primary server is Ggate1 and secondary server is Ggate2. We'll be inserting some data in Ggate1. However, using Goldengate, it will be replicated to Ggate2. So in Ggate1, we have a schema called as GG training 1. And in that we have two tables, DEPT1 and EMP1. There is no data in these two tables right now. As of now, there is no data. Similarly, our target is Ggate2. In that, we have a schema with name GG training 2. And the table names are DEPT2 and EMP2 respectively. So what our aim is, we want to replicate the data from Ggate1 to Ggate2. That is, we'll be inserting some data in Ggate1, it will be replicated to Ggate2. So we'll be inserting data into ggtraining1.dept1 and it will be replicated to ggtraining2.dept2. Similarly, data from ggtraining1.emp1 will be replicated to ggtraining2.emp2. So for the purpose of this, for the replication purpose, we have configured Goldengate extract and data pump process on source side. Goldengate extract, what we saw in the architecture, we have already configured Goldengate extract and data pump process. So extract is nothing but the capture. It will capture the transactions. Whatever committed transactions are there, it will capture. Data pump does the FTP part, sending the data over the TCP/IP network. And on target we have a replicat REP INT1 which will do the replication part. So replicat is nothing but delivery. So remember, capture and extract are used interchangeably. Similarly, replicat and delivery are used interchangeably. So let us now do some transaction into ggtraining1.dept1. It will be replicated to ggtraining2.dept2 and emp2. So I already have a script created with the name dml.sql. What it will do? It will insert 4 records in dept1 and 7 records in emp1. And it contains commit as well. So see, 4 records will be inserted into dept1 and 7 records will be inserted into emp1. So we have just done the transaction onto the source table, that is DEPT1 and EMP1. Now our purpose is these records, whatever we have inserted, 4 records in DEPT1 and 7 records in EMP1, they should now be available onto Ggate2 using Oracle Goldengate. So if we check now, if we do select star from DEPT2, if the data is replicated, it will contain 4 rows. Yeah, so data has been replicated successfully. Similarly, if we do select star from EMP2, 7 rows are there. Now suppose what I'll do on source, I'll update this row on source, that is Ggate1. I'll update the location from New York to Chicago you will find that the row with 10 with this department number 10 will be updated on Gate2 as well. So I'll do some transaction. So I'll do update DPT1 set location equal to Chicago where department number is equal to 10. So it says one row updated. As soon as I commit, now once I commit it, extract Goldengate extract process which I have configured, it is capturing it. Data pump is sending it to target. Once data pump sends it to target, the Goldengate replicate process will apply it on Gate2. So now I am on Gate2. Let us see whether the location has been changed from New York to Chicago or not. Yeah. See, earlier the location was 10 accounting New York. However, now the row has been updated. However, we just did made the changes onto the Gate1. How are they reflecting to Gate2? The reason is you have configured Oracle Goldengate. So as soon as you inserted or updated the row and committed it, Goldengate extract process captured it. If we do select ext-int1, stats ext-int1, you can check the statistics. When I'm doing statistics ext-int1, I will find that it says that extracting from pdb1.ggtraining1.dept1, it has extracted 4 inserts and 1 update as we did. Also for EMP1 table, 7 inserts have been captured. Similarly, you can check the stats of data pump as well. Data pump statistics will be same. Again 4 inserts, 1 updates and 7 inserts for EMP1. Now when we go to target side replicate and when we do stats REP-INT1, here again you will find the same thing. So you can see how the data process is flowing. Using the architecture as we discussed, your extract is able to capture, write it to local trail, pump reads the data from local trail, writes it to remote trail, and then the delivery process applies it to target database. So this is how the process data flow. Now how to configure these processes we'll be discussing in detail during the training session. So let us see what we are going to do, what would be our course agenda for the training. So the duration of this training is 19 to 20 hours. So the objective of this training is to explain all the fundamental concepts of Oracle Goldengate used for data replication and integration. So the Goldengate training will be on 12C. We are going to use 12.2 version of Oracle Goldengate, which is the latest version. We'll be using the platform as Unix. And the databases which we are going to use is 12.1.2.0.1. So with the training, I'll be sharing with you the lab setup material with lifetime access to them. So you will have the lifetime access. You will be getting virtual boxes, images with Oracle Goldengate software and Oracle database for training purpose. So you'll be getting all these from me. I'll be providing you. These lab access will be there with you for a lifetime. So you will get 2 instances of Oracle Goldengate. So what we are going to discuss with this training is, first we'll be starting with overview of Oracle database, architecture of Oracle database in this. So we'll be discussing about locks which are required for Oracle Goldengate replication, how extract is able to capture. Next we'll be having introduction to Oracle Goldengate. So we'll be discussing in detail regarding Oracle Goldengate introduction, what are the Oracle Goldengate replication solution for live reporting, real-time data warehousing. Then what are the supported databases and platforms and what are the advantages of Oracle Goldengate. Then we'll be discussing about installing Oracle Goldengate. So for this we'll be first downloading the software from Oracle website and then we'll install it. Installation is GUI based and pretty easy, but how to do that we'll be discussing. Then we'll be explaining subdirectories involved with Oracle Goldengate. Then next we'll be discussing one of the most important topic of Oracle Goldengate architecture. What we have discussed today, It's just a small part. We'll be discussing in detail exactly what are the concepts and components. We'll be discussing about each individual component, extract, data pump, trail files, manager, everything. How the data flows from source database to target database. And what are the design considerations you need to keep in mind. Now, for instance, at the end of the training, what I expect from you is you will be either supporting already existing Goldengate environment, or you'll be working into the environment where Goldengate, where client has a new requirement to set up new Oracle Goldengate instance. Now when you set up Oracle Goldengate, there are some design consideration you need to keep in mind. Remember, every time I say, if you spend 80% of time in planning and 20% of time in execution, your product, your Golden Gate solution will never give you any issues. However, if you don't give sufficient time in planning, however, give only time in execution, then you may face some issue. So what are the design consideration you need to keep in mind? We'll be discussing. Then we'll be doing configuring and prepare. We'll be configuring and preparing the environment. We'll configure the manager process. We'll describe manager process. Then we'll be discussing about DML replication using Oracle Golden Gate. So what demo we saw today, we'll be discussing how to configure the extract process. What is integrated extract? What is classic extract? What is integrated replicate? What is classic replicate? What is the difference between the two? Then we'll be discussing about initial load. So initial load is the process of getting two databases into sync initially. So how you can get two databases into sync initially? So Golden Gate also provides you the method of performing the initial load. So in this we'll be seeing how Golden Gate initial load is different from database initial load utilities like export, import, RMN, transportable table space. In the next module, we'll be discussing about zero downtime migration and upgradation using Oracle Golden Gate. What strategy you need to follow for zero downtime migration and upgradation. So we'll be discussing this. Then we'll be discussing about Oracle Golden Gate 12c new feature. This again we'll be discussing regularly. However, we'll be discussing more in detail about 12c new features. Next is parameter files. Now remember, parameter files are the heartbeat of Oracle Golden Gate. Just like at the database level you have control files. Similarly at the Golden Gate level you have parameter files. So what are the parameters? How to comprehend already existing parameter files. See, you suppose you are asked to support an environment where Golden Gate is already installed. So you will find the parameter file already present over there. So you will need to comprehend the existing parameter file. Or you may, if you set up a new Oracle Golden Gate environment, then you will need to configure, you should know how to configure parameter file. So we'll be discussing in this part in parameter file. This would be most important and interesting topic. Next, we'll be discussing about data definition file. So one of the USP of Oracle Golden Gate is it can replicate the data between heterogeneous databases. How it does? Using data definition file. Now this from 12c onwards, it no longer required. However, what was data definition file till 11g, what new feature you have in 12c, we'll be discussing in this part. Then we'll discuss about DDL replication. So in the above part we were discussing about DML replication. Now we'll be discussing about DDL replication, how it is different from DML, how extract and replicate understand DML and DDL separately. Then next in our module will be bidirectional replication. So what is active-active? What is active-passive? How to detect loop? What are the issues you may face? So we'll be discussing all this in bidirectional replication. Next, we'll be discussing about Oracle Golden Gate security. So how you can configure Oracle Golden Gate security in your environment. Next, we'll be discussing about troubleshooting Oracle Golden Gate issues. Now this again is one of the most important things. Once you implement the thing, see, Golden Gate is a technology in which you may face some issues. So you should be able to understand how to troubleshoot the issues. What is discard file? How to add a new table in already running Goldengate configuration, or how you can adjust replicate, how you can move them forward, how you can move them back. We'll be discussing in troubleshooting the issues. Next, we'll be discussing about how to manage Oracle Goldengate. So how to manage trail files, how to perform automatic process startup when server restarts, how to use reporting and statistics. The next we'll be discussing about how to read the trail files. So the trail files which stores the data are the binary format trail files. You cannot read those trail files directly. So to read the trail files, you have a utility called as log dump utility. So we'll be seeing how to use the log dump. Then next we'll be discussing about performance of Oracle Goldengate. How you can improve it, how to monitor Oracle Goldengate, how to monitor lag, how Goldengate ensures data integrity using checkpoint. So we'll be discussing all that in performance of Oracle Goldengate. The next we'll be having question and answer session. Along with this training, you will get the virtual machine setup. So I'll be providing you lab setup material with Oracle database and Oracle Goldengate with lifetime access. So with this training, you will receive interview question and answers. You will receive lot of documentations with the training, reference books, and upon completion of this training, you can go for certification like Oracle Goldengate Implementation Specialist or Oracle Goldengate 12C Essentials. So we are going to start our training, regular training batches from as per IST timing. We'll be starting today at 5 p.m. As per EST timing, we'll be starting in at 7:30 a.m. So we are going to start our sessions in next uh, 9 hours. The regular session will start. So this is a weekend batch. The session will happen on Saturdays and Sundays. So first two sessions are 1.5 hours, and after that every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, they will be 2.5 hours. So this will be working as per session plan. So this session plan will be shared with you. So the training will happen on the different link. The link is this. I'll ping you on the chat session as well, and also a calendar invite will be sent after the training to you all. So this session plan will be shared with you, and it's already shared with some of them. So how you can attend the courses? For attending a course, you just need good internet connection with headset, and for lab exercises you will get VirtualBox setup which you can install and use it for lifetime. So you can check the feedback regarding the training, whatever trainings I have conducted. You can always check it on LinkedIn. This is one of the feedback which I received, which I have pasted over here. So thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks for joining this. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining, and I hope you liked the session. Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.